Hey y'all, so this is gonna be another message slash I guess talk video. I don't really have so much planned, but more so I really sometimes use these videos for me to be able to I guess talk about things that I don't really get to talk to or talk about with anybody else. And it's to the point where there's something that is ruminating on my mind, and honestly, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what direction I should go in. I just think I'm quite honestly really tired. Really hurt. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of frustration, so much anger and frustration. And I'm gonna have a trigger warning at the beginning of this just for transparency, but also for so you guys are aware. I don't want anyone to be negatively affected by this. This is more so just for anyone else that is struggling with the same things that I am, for you to be able to feel seen, for you to be able to feel like, you're not the only person that is struggling or dealing with these things. But trigger warning for, sexual abuse, molestation, abuse in general, trauma, just anything of that nature. And as much as I would like to have a, I guess, more positive and uppity message, this is not so much more so as a guided message for anyone, but more so for me to kind of put my heart out there in ways that I haven't been allowed to or been able to experience before. Basically, what it is that yesterday I had an experience, actually probably the entire day, where I not only was having meltdowns all throughout the day, but I was feeling very dirty. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean by that, but even after taking a shower, I probably took 2 showers yesterday for no reason. What the heck? And I basically just felt like I just could not get myself clean. If you guys had dealt with grooming or sexual, inappropriate behaviors or actions, I know that I have not only comments, but inappropriate touching, inappropriate, just ways of going about situations, especially for someone who was under the age of 10 years old, all throughout. Oh, bless me. I'm blessed. Just experiencing not only the inability to just kind of have a break, but constantly always being reminded and kind of surrounded by reminders of the past. I'm in a situation where I not only am healing from a lot of sexual trauma that I've experienced ever since I was a child, especially as I developed early, and experiencing the healing of that trauma and experiencing the healing of that, before I even understood what it all meant or how I would be treated in the world as in overall. I was experiencing these things as a child, and I didn't have the option. I didn't have the ability to speak up for myself. I didn't have the ability to kind of open up and truly like defend myself the way that I wanted to, because I didn't even know what was going on at the moment. And there's some things that I even have memory of, visions of, recollection, and things that are almost so vivid, but I don't recollect them, of them actually happening. And that can very much be either, dedicated towards having certain traumatic things that happened to me as a child that I honestly don't remember because of the trauma, protecting myself from remembering those things, which, if that is the alternative, that is something that is very harmful and scary to think about, and something that quite honestly has been haunting me while I've been in my childhood home this whole time where it all started. And I'm getting to the point where I'm quite honestly tired. I'm quite honestly fed up. I'm quite honestly just so done. And I feel so, not only pain, but so much rejection, not only from the people in the house, but my own body and soul rejecting the people and the environment that I am still in, because I haven't been able to leave. I haven't been able to really escape without feeling like I can. There's a tactic that happens when it comes to abuse, not only just the fawning tactic, but the one where victims of abuse will constantly return back to their abusers, especially if they were deeply impacted by this. They would constantly continue or return. They would constantly, try to talk to them or to fend, like to have them, be there for them, because there's just a, what is it called? Like a situation that happens where if someone doesn't teach you or allow you to see yourself as an individual and be able to give you the tools and the things necessary for you to be able to live separately from the source or separately from this person that has inflicted this abuse on you, there is a thing that happens where not only every time that you try to do something on your own, every time that you try to take a risk, every time you try to do something for yourself, choose yourself, it quite literally will elicit a trigger response. A response of not only just absolute fear and terror, but panic attacks, anxiety, so much stress, and just absolute fear for your life, as if, you are, offing yourself. It feels like sometimes, choosing yourself at times. And this is something that I've not only had to get through, but be able to live, not even live, survive in this environment for the months that I have been here for, because I felt like I was trapped. I believed, I convinced myself that I was trapped, that there would be no way out, that there would be no way for me to get through this experience, there'd be no way for me to move on. And now I'm to the point where there's just been so much anger that I've had to just really stuff down, really deep down, to where I don't really care anymore. I don't want to care, even though I kind of still do sometimes. I really want to stand up for myself, but the last time I did that, it ended up resulting in me being kicked out and being homeless, and I got blamed for that result or that reaction that was elicited from the person who was the abuser, i.e. mother figures. And honestly, when it comes to this channel, when it comes to being open about these things that I go through and being vulnerable, which one is very, very difficult for me to do, but also the last time I did it, I got heavily criticized and judged and shamed for actually being open about my story and revealing the things that I have been dealing with, and not even the whole story, just very little snippets, just very little tidbits. And it was as if I murdered somebody, it felt like. And it's to the point where I honestly, I don't really care. You know, if they would have known that I would become the person who I will become, who I am becoming, 11:11 on my clock, they would have never put me through that abuse. They would have never put me through the manipulation, the gaslighting, the constant, minimizing my pain, minimizing my stress, minimizing every single thing that I bring up or go through. They would have never put me through that if they were truly worried about getting revealed or getting exposed. And it's to the point where now the behavior has switched. They see that they can't really get access to me anymore. They see that they can't really, that they don't affect me the way that they always have, that I've switched my demeanor and I switched my energy, because not only am I working really, really diligently towards healing my pain and my trauma while in the same place that it originated, but also my responses are not the same. So they cannot give me or use the same tricks that they've always used to elicit the same response or get the same sort of reaction out of me. And it very much not only scares them, but makes them uncomfortable. And so they've chosen another form of abuse of just completely just being, what do you call it? Complicit, just silence, quiet, not involved. And one could say, well, isn't that good? Isn't that what you want? Isn't that the more favorable response? And some people, and maybe I could say yes, but not when there are things that have happened, conversations that have been had, when we do communicate, when we do have talks, and after then just acting like everything is fine and dandy, acting like nothing has ever happened, because that has happened before and it has been something that I dealt with before, and it didn't help either, because obviously when someone does something wrong, when someone does something hurtful, does something that I guess makes you feel bad, the natural reaction of a person who actually cares about your feelings, boundaries, energy, wellness, and everything encompassing that would apologize, would have a conversation, would do things that are actively trying to change the behavior, so that they are not only showing you that they are apologetic, but not also also showing you that they are supportive, that they care, that they want to be in your life, etc., etc. And so when someone chooses to be complicit or complacent, I'm not sure what it is, just when they just don't talk, they don't do nothing, that is also another form of abuse. And I'm not sure if you guys have experienced that before, but it is another manipulation tactic where not only are they also turning everybody against you in terms of, having everybody, gang up on you, having, what is it called, like discussions where they basically talk about you behind your back. And they're like, oh, I'm so worried about this person. I think there's something really wrong with them. They are saying this and going through this and that. But the whole time, none of these people that they have been trying to talk to and actually garner up to go against you, to fight against you, to pin them, to pin their word against you. None of them have actually spoken to you, though. None of them have actually had a conversation and sat down and actually got my side of the story, which also means whenever you experience this, guys, this means that not only are they don't really care to figure out the other side of the story, the one of the person that is actually going through these struggles and situations, and that they just listen to whatever the person that is not them says about you. But also, that just means that the people who are ganging up against them very much so probably had the same subconscious beliefs, the same feelings, the same I guess implicit biases or feelings about you, and that person the abuser just confirmed that. And so when that happens, that is how you know not only do you have to protect yourself, but also you have to remove yourself from these situations, because it can be extremely harmful to not only your health and your progress in this path of healing, but also harmful in the way that you view your self-concept. If you're someone who is highly empathic, highly sensitive to energies, it is also very easy to pick up on other people's energies, and then those energies or those feelings or whatever kind of transmute themselves into you thinking that is your own energy, or that's how you feel, or that's how you perceive yourself, or how a situation really happened, when you know yourself, you know how a situation happened, but now someone else is 1717 on my clock, actively trying to make you to psych yourself out, basically, into you thinking and knowing that you're wrong for whatever reason that may be. And it usually is just because they just want to discredit you. They want to take your power away. They want to psych you out into thinking that you are not as strong as you really think you are, as powerful, as smart, as responsible, as in control of your life and yourself as you think that you are. And when this happens, guys, it is so important to not only remove yourself from these relationships, remove yourself from these environments, and that is what I'm trying to do. But obviously, I'm still struggling. It's still difficult. I still don't know how. I don't have exactly all the resources or the financial, status that I would love right now. So it's to the point where sometimes we'll be forced to make decisions that, I don't know. I don't think that inherently, if you were given this experience, if you were given the situation where you feel like this environment is a danger to your health and your overall wellness, it would not be given to you unless you were able to get out of it and to succeed and to blossom and grow as a human being outside of that environment. But at the same time, it is really difficult to not get so stuck up into the human condition of all things, the material, into the reality or the truth of the matter. A lot of us, especially if you resonate with any of the messages on my channel, you resonate with not only that we are truth seekers, and the way that we kind of go through scenarios, we decipher, debunk, we question a lot of things because we are craving to have some sort of truth or some sort of understanding of the things that are around us, the concepts, always wanting to know, to have more knowledge, to have more overall awareness of the concepts, of the situations, of what's real and what's fake, of what is good and what's bad, and understanding dichotomies and neutrality and feminine and masculine energies. Like, the list goes on and on and on. We're very intellectual beings, and we crave to have that, I guess, sense of understanding and have the truth be so settled and within your body in order for you to feel like, okay, yeah, this feels right, or this is what is right, or this is the way to go, whatever it is. And so, again, when it comes to understanding that part, but also understanding the things that you are not only dealing with, but the things that you're surrounded by, it's very difficult to not get trapped in the obsession or the cycle of constantly ruminating over, okay, well, I can do this, but what about this, and what about this, and what about this? It actually doesn't seem like it's very possible, but at the same time, it feels like it is the right decision. It feels like it is the right thing to do. It feels like, blah, blah, blah. And when you get to that point, sometimes not only do you have to be able to just step back and surrender, which, again, this is very, very difficult to just do more than say, but to be able to surrender, to sit back, and to be able to look at a situation and be like, what is the price of me continuing to allow for these things to happen and to continue to be in the energy of passivity, or thinking that things are okay, or acting like you are fine, or dimming down and even, I guess, diminishing your own and invalidating your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own anger, your own expression, your own voice, because of the fact that these people have made you feel like you would be in a non-safe position, or you will be in a worse position, or it would be really bad. You will be a bad person if you did those things. When in reality, the situations that they have put you in, the situations that they have dealt you, the cards that you've been dealt, this goes all the way back to childhood, because again, things that happen after you turn into adulthood, yes, that is your responsibility, but the things that happen before then build the choices and the decisions and the relationships and the actions that you make and follow through on in adulthood. And so if these things have been repeated over and over and over again for all this time, and you continue to make that decision of not only diminishing your own feelings, diminishing your own thoughts, your own boundaries, whatever it may be, at the expense or for the comfort or for keeping the peace of people who never wanted to keep your peace, who never wanted you to feel safe, who never wanted you to feel like an equal. You are doing that to yourself, and at that point, it is not only self-sabotage, but it is not respecting yourself. It is not providing yourself with the love that you deserve. The love that not only, if you've been in this healing journey, that you've been working towards providing for yourself, reparenting yourself, and also giving yourself the life that you deserve, the real shot at having a beautiful and wonderful life. So having all of these things in mind, it just comes to a point where you really just have to look really deeply at yourself in the eyes and just question, is this something that you want to continue to have happen? And if that answer is no, if that answer is, I need something different, I need a fresh start, I need something new, then you have to go through the really, really difficult reality of not only are things going to present themselves, opportunities and, motions to move, motions to change that are going to happen when you don't feel ready. Situations that you're going to go through and experience that are going to cause friction, that are going to cause a lot of what it feels like hardship at first, because it's completely different from what you've ever known. It's completely different from what you're used to. It feels like you are betraying yourself, but it is in the act of self-love, in the act of self-acceptance, in the act of providing yourself with justice that you've always deserved. That's what happens when you choose yourself, even if it feels like it is impossible. Sometimes we have to be able to trust so deeply and believe in source and a higher power that it is possible, that you will be okay, that you will make it through, that you will succeed, that you will come through on the other side much better, much stronger, bigger, and more beautiful, that you're always protected, that you are not given these ideas or these circumstances or these thoughts or these visions for no reason. Know that it is possible. And again, it's really hard for us to be able to understand the reality of where these things can be. But if you've been following me along with this, and if you understand, you know that you are not normal. You are not a typical human being on this earth. You are an earth angel. You are a divine being. You were put here to change the world in some way. You were chosen to make the decisions that will not only show and present yourself as a leader, but be representation for the people that felt like it couldn't work out, that it couldn't happen, that they wouldn't make it. Sometimes God, sometimes Source, the universe really wants us to just be that representation. And we have to be the first to do it. First in our family, first in, our immediate family, because I believe that if you've experienced this, if you felt the desire to move, to travel, to have something different happen in your life, movement and kind of going through different experiences and things of that nature are our birthright, are a part of our existence on this earth, are things that our ancestors went through. Especially, this goes back to slavery times, the Great Migration and things like that, Like, it is very essential and natural for sometimes our being, our soul, for us to be able to evolve, for us to be able to grow and develop, that something needs to happen. And that something sometimes has to be a move. Sometimes it has to be a location change. And please take this message with discernment. Take what resonates and leave the rest, because not everybody will be gravitated or feel so deeply when it comes to these things. But if you have been, and it's been something that you've been putting off because you don't feel like it's the right time, you don't feel like you can do it, you don't feel like you're going to be able to make it, whatever the case may be, why can't you? Truly question, why can't you? And sometimes money and sometimes, certain circumstances are not a valid answer, are not a valid part as to why things can't happen or things are not able to, work out for you. Because if you, like I have, survived what felt like impossible, survived things that people would never even be able to get through, to even muster, to even hold, to even handle, what's to say that you cannot handle and to conquer and to overcome this moment right here? The moment that is not only going to bring you into your next chapter, the moment that is not only going to change your life forever, and especially for the next 6 months. Why not? What if it actually goes well? What if it is the best thing that you could have done for yourself? You're not going to have everything figured out. You're not going to have everything all ready and wrapped up in a nice neat bow. That is you trying to control the situation, in a situation where abundance can't always be controlled. It's limitless. And if you were destined, if your birthright was to be abundant, for you to be limitless, for you to be given such a beautiful life, you cannot control that. You have to be able to let the universe and to let source be able to guide you in these paths, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Because sometimes we don't. Sometimes I don't know everything that I'm doing. Sometimes I don't feel like I know anything at all. We're always learning and becoming students of this world, of this life, of our path, of our world. But that does not mean that we're not able, that we're not capable, that we're not strong enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not equipped enough, prepared enough. Because the preparation was not only in you getting to yourself to the realization that you deserve better, that you need better, that your soul craves a love that is actually real and true and genuine and actually cares about you, actually puts you forward and first. Not before themselves, but first before people that couldn't even give you the time of day, that couldn't even give you the least bit of attention to help you, to give you some sort of guidance or whatever it may be. You deserve a true spirit community. You deserve a love that is so beautiful and long lasting, and one that doesn't make you question, one that doesn't bring you fear, one that does not molest you, one one that does not take you for granted. One that lets you emanate and to live and to experience your divine fullness. That is the type of love that we should all not only deserve, but also experience and want and desire for ourselves. And we have to be willing to do what we can, to do what we're able to, what it takes to achieve that sometimes. And so, with that, I not only send you so much love and so much peace if you have resonated with this message, resonated with the things that I spoke about. I am so sorry if you were, a victim of things that you didn't deserve to go through. And knowing that we are not victims, we are so powerful. We are warriors of our ancestry. We are warriors of our lineage. We are warriors of the divine. And that we have been able to overcome everything that we've been given. And that we no longer have to put these experiences up against ourselves to make us feel like we cannot get through it. To make us feel like we have to hold this over our heads for the rest of our life and keep us down and keep us in a place of limit and control and handicapping and things of that nature. You don't have to go through or allow that or, accept any of those things that happened. You don't have to if you don't want to. But also know that if you feel like you are completely entitled to being like, yeah, this shit happened to me and it was not fair and I didn't appreciate it and it happened, and I don't forgive the people that actually enacted those feelings towards me, but I forgive myself not only for the times that I blame myself, the times that I felt guilty, the times that I felt ashamed, the times I felt selfish for putting myself first, the times where I continued to, put myself in situations that made myself susceptible to people that didn't treat me well, that showed me the first time and that I continued to stay. People who abused me after I left that house. And then I had to go back to it. That I forgive myself for experiencing that pain and that betrayal towards myself, because I didn't know better. I didn't know what I knew now. I didn't know that I was truly deserving and worthy of good treatment, of love, of peace, of respect. And so in that, I have to show myself now that that is true by following through on this decision to choose myself for the rest of my life, because I've never truly been able to make that decision without always having some negative voice, from some doubt, for some fear, for some whatever in the back of my head telling me that I can't, telling me that it's not possible. But that's not true. And it was never true. They only wanted to make you feel like that was true. So with that, I have to give myself the love that I deserve and give myself peace, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it feels impossible, even if it doesn't feel like I can make it, even if I'm scared, even if I'm nervous, even if I have doubt, I have to do it anyway. I really needed this, and I just really hope that you guys spend some real quality time, not only grounding, but spending time with yourself, giving yourself a little bit more hugs and a little bit more love and a little bit more, attention than normal or usual. If things have just been ripping and running, life has just been passing you by, just being real busy, just doing a lot. Take some time today, tomorrow, whenever you see this, to really pay attention to how you're feeling, to reevaluate what it is that you care about, what matters to you, what do you desire, what do you want to feel, not where do you want to be, what is the end destination, but what do you want to feel. And know that the clarity and the answers will come. But you have to be able to take action first for your own freedom, for your own life, for your own self-love and your own respect to yourself and your life and your future. Respect yourself and your future enough to actually give yourself the time and the attention and the thought that deserves, that entails, that involves. And I love you. I love you so deeply. And I'm here for you. And know that you are never alone. And that things are going to be better. Things are going to be okay. Truly. You are protected. You are divinely guided. You are being divinely led, even if it feels like sometimes you don't get any answers. Sometimes your brain is quiet. You don't know where you are, who you are, what's going on. If your faith is dwindling, trust me, that is a part of the journey too. But know that you got yourself at the end of the day. You always got yourself. That is the best relationship that you will have for yourself, and I say that very often. Again, I love you guys. I wish you the best. And if you have any comments or any testimonies in the comments below, yes, please let me know. Please share. I'm here for you. If there's any questions or anything that you want to know, I'm here for you as well. We will get through this together. And you guys are going to be along with me in this entire journey as I make this transition. And know that this is not the end. This is just the beginning. And we get to determine whatever we want for ourselves, whatever we want for our lives. Now, it's completely up to us. And that's the freedom in it all. Truly nothing matters. Money doesn't truly matter. Material items don't truly matter. What matters is how you feel and how are you honoring yourself. How are you spending time and attending to yourself. So I'll catch you guys in the next message or in the next video. And again, you guys will be along with me in this whole entire journey. And I wish you the best. Until next time, I love you guys. Bye bye.